this video, I'm going to show you how to build your own custom GPT for email marketing and how to use it to 10x your output without sacrificing quality or brand voice. Right now, the best performing teams are using AI to move faster, ship more consistently, and scale lifecycle content without adding headcount. But most brands get this wrong. They plug prompts into ChatGPT, they get generic copy back, and then they wonder why none of it converts. The problem isn't AI. It's that AI isn't trained on your brand, your customers, or your tone of voice. Now, after generating over $60 million in email revenue for our clients, we've developed a repeatable process to train a custom GPT that actually sounds like your brand and creates emails that convert. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how to build this step by step and how we use it to plan months of content and produce high quality drafts in a fraction of the time it used to take. So make sure you watch this until the end. Now, getting into step number one, which is to train your custom GPT based on your brand. Many people wonder why they get lackluster results, but if you don't train your AI based on your own brand, obviously it never knows what to say. And if you do this, if you don't train it on your brand, you will start getting these kind of results, which is basically just the most generic stuff ever. Your journey begins now. Explore what's inside. Hey friend, we are so excited to share something special with you today, etc., etc. Just this generic nonsense, which pretty much doesn't mean anything. There's no personality, no voice of brand, nothing like that inside. If you use AI to generate these kind of emails, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna be at the top of the brands where you probably want to be. But if you just start doing this and using your own GPT trained on your brand, you can start one-shotting your prompts pretty much. Obviously, not always, but that's a hook here, and that's pretty much true. So here's the context to upload. First of all, especially important are things like brand voice guidelines, target audience research, reviews of your brand, and then your website, so it can scan it through as well. And let me just show you how this looks. You can see here I've generated this document that you can also access because you're watching this video and you have this mirror board. In this document, I'm gonna go through the whole process of how to use AI, how to build this custom GPT, how to use it to plan your content, and how to actually use it to write the emails as well. So going into step number 2, which is the planner. So for most people, it usually takes hours to plan a content calendar or a flow. But using our GPT, it takes less than 10 minutes. So going from this blank page syndrome, not knowing what to do, we can take this whole month of calendar, all of these insights from the past month's calendar and what we've been discussing, all the transcripts from our calls in the past and everything. And then we can fill that context into the ChatGPT and we can ask it with this specific prompt to generate a full month of campaigns in a few minutes. And then obviously the feedback is perfect. I'm going to show it to you right now, but the result is so good that you can pretty much use it as a starting point and then make your own edits, and then the whole campaign calendar is ready in a matter of minutes or in a matter of hours if you want to really maximize it. So I'm gonna go into this prompt right now, but basically, the prompt, we can obviously make the prompt for creating a welcome series, for abandoned cart, for browse abandonment, and of course we can even upload results from the previous flows or campaigns, so it creates even better output, which is what I'm also gonna explain to you right now. But I will show you an example on how to generate a full month of campaigns for HIMS with this planner process. So let's go back into the document here and let's go into the planner. So monthly campaign calendar, here's a full prompt that you can use. So basically there's also in this other tab in the document, there's this to use for you as well. So it's with placeholders depending on your brand, but the timelines and everything else you want to add as context here. But in this case, I've just filled it, HIMS information, and I will paste the whole prompt. So it will talk about things like what kind of days we want to cover in the calendar, what kind of promotions we want to run, what are the specific products or treatments we want to highlight, any new releases or any updates we want to highlight in this month's calendar, what is the benchmark competitor or the key competitors we want to mimic, we want to learn from, we want to compete against, and then any specific campaigns already in the backlog from previous months. Then we also, what we do in this prompt normally, we have our monthly insights from every client. So we also add a PDF file of the monthly report of that client. So this report covers all the insights of what kind of campaigns worked well in the past month, what didn't work well and everything. And then we will paste that whole document with the insights into the prompt together when we are, prompting the ChatGPT, understands everything like what works in the past, what didn't work so well, and then it will automatically have this feedback loop to improve the content, double down on the winners every single month, and offer ideas based on what were working in the past. And then obviously there's also picking a different number of different content pillars into the calendar, segmenting the campaigns between different segments, any other strategic output we want to, or input we want to give to it, and then what kind of model we want the output as. So let's use this prompt right now in the bot that we just created, and let me show you what it comes up with. So in this case, we're asking it to generate a calendar for March 2026 consisting of 20 campaigns. We want to cover days like World Obesity Day in March 4th, and then we want to highlight collections like GLP-1s, ED, hair loss treatments. Any updates here, I added just like a placeholder what could be an update. New Wegovy pill, the first oral GLP-1 medicine for obesity, now available at Hims. So let's say something like that they would be announcing in March 2026. Let me just take, again, this whole prompt here, and then let me show you what the bot comes up with. And let's see if the result is actually super good now, or if it needs a lot of work. Usually there's a little bit of work it still needs, but it's getting pretty good with this. The key points you need to be aware of is pretty much like sometimes the dates it messes up a little bit. It might be in the previous year's calendar, so like it might place March 4th on a different week than it actually is this year or something. But there might be issues like that. You always need to double check. And obviously, if it misses some context you have internally, then you want to edit this calendar to include those specific emphasis points or focus points that the ChatGPT sometimes still misses. But it's usually a really good starting point. And let's see what it comes up with right now. So below is the calendar for March 2026. Audience mix, prospects 30 campaigns, active patients 3 campaigns, lapsed patients 4 campaigns, primary product focus, GLP-1 program, and then ED and hair loss as well. So that's pretty much what we want to do here. So let's go back to the prompt. Let's see what it came up with. So here's basically the whole calendar in this tabular table format. So there's March 1st, prospect segment, campaign angle, weight loss education, what GLP-1 actually do, then learn more. Then March 2, obesity reframing, obesity is a medical condition, get facts as a CTA, then prospects, World Obesity Day, science-backed path to weight care, explore options, then there's product education, inside the Hims GLP-1 program, there's a new announcement of the new oral GLP-1 option that I explained as like the context here as a placeholder. There's social proof campaign, real patients, measurable progress, see results. So obviously, this is really like product focused right now, but this looks, to be honest, quite good. I would say there could be a little bit more like some kind of personalization, like there could be like customer success emails to kind of check in on your progress for active patients, or there could be something like that for lapsed patients as well. Even for prospects, we usually like to do at least one for each of these categories per month of like these conversation starter emails. So a plain text email coming from the customer success team asking the prospects like, hey, we noticed you haven't started your first treatment yet. Anything we can do to help you with? Any questions, any concerns? And then we ask them to reply to the email, and then we start to have a conversation from there. So this is missing a little bit of that kind of stuff, but the basic, made this in a minute with the prompt, and then you can kind of add your own context there. Strategic, rational, education first 55%, social proof 25%, product framing 20%, then the specific day we want to cover, and then the new announcement we wanted to cover. We didn't want to do any promotions, so that's why it didn't contain any of those, but pretty good output in my opinion for the whole month in this fast, and then we can kind of refine this further from that. And now for the step number 3, which is the writer. And now that you've nailed your brand down and know exactly what to write, and also have created the campaign calendar, the content calendar based on the AI prompt we just went through, now you just need to tell the AI to write. And what's great about our AI is that it breaks it into a headline, subheadline, the whole high converting email structure because of the prompts we are using. And right now I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this and how to use this prompt. Obviously you can refine these prompts, they need to be adjusted based on what type of email you're sending. But in this case, I'm giving you an example. I have like the general prompt for you here again in your other tab of the document that you will be having access to. But then in this case, I'm using a ready-made prompt we made for Hims. So here's, for example, email writing prompt. You're writing marketing email for Hims with the following topic: why hair loss starts years before you notice it. The goal of this email is to get prospect to start their hair assessment. These emails should follow a proven visual hierarchy designed for conversions, and then study the page at this link carefully to understand what to write about basically. So it will pull its information for the copy from here. And then this is a long base prompt, so we use this. We take the whole prompt from here, then we actually missed a little bit, so we go further even here, and then pretty much whole prompt, CTA rules to follow, and then actually let's add one more thing. So let's also add a high-performing email to draw inspiration for copy and design. So the whole prompt from here, let's put it into the ChatGPT again, and then what basically needs to be taken into account as well is like, let's say this specific email was a high-performing email in the past month. Now we just screenshot this email. So let's take this one from here. Then let's go to ChatGPT. Let's put it here as like a high-performing email inspiration. And then what this prompt is about, it's basically, it tells what structure to write a high-converting email in. So it covers all the sections. So there's basically, hero section, how long headline, what kind of description, what kind of CTAs, then hero image, some kind of design guidance there, and body copy, bridge section, which is kind of like infographic style breakdown in the middle of the email, kind of digesting the whole information, the key point of the email there, and then other potential sections that are required. And let's just paste this together with the inspiration here, and then let's wait for it to come up with some kind of a email following this kind of best practice high converting email design structure for us. So now it's already coming up with it. So subject, why hair loss starts before you notice, hair loss begins earlier than you think, the early signs of hair loss explained. Preview text, hair follicles change quietly over time, here's what's happening beneath the surface and when it's worth acting. Obviously, you might want to, edit these kind of AI lines because these are really too prevalent now in the AI-generated copy, but otherwise, I think the subject line preview text are pretty good here to start with, considering the topic of the email. Then let's go to hair loss section. So hair loss starts quietly. By the time thinning looks visible, follicles have often been changing for years. Understanding the early process helps you take action sooner. And then CTA, start assessment. So again, pretty good. Imagine this in a Figma file, just like a hair section. There's this headline and there's this one sentence or two sentences copy below it, and then there's the button start assessment. Then it gives visual direction for the designer about the hero image. So suggested visual, minimal clean product plus science visual, neutral background with soft gradients, a subtle follicle illustration layer behind a simple hairline silhouette, calm, clinical, reassuring, no dramatic before after. Okay, pretty good. Then body copy and CTA. So obviously the high converting emails are usually quite brief. We want to keep them concise, we want to keep them punchy, because on average people spend less than 10 seconds per email. So they need to be able to digest the email fast. So that said, here's the body copy and CTA. Hair loss rarely happens all at once. It usually starts at the follicle level, gradual changes that are easy to miss day to day. That's why many people wait until progress feels harder to reverse. A quick online assessment helps identify patterns early, privately, and on your terms. Check hair health. Okay, the CTA, it's decent, but it's this is a little bit maybe generic here, or maybe we would want to keep it aligned with the start assessment, but it's still something you can work with. And the goal is not to just paste this completely into Figma. The goal is still to go through it, edit it, and so on. But obviously, if you have a good prompt, it can give you a pretty good starting point here, and almost like even one prompting it if you are busy and you actually need to be pushing these emails out a lot every single day, for example. So the bridge section after that, after the body copy, there's the infographic style breakdown. So this is going to be a timeline, what's happening before hair loss is visible. So there's kind of like stages in it, and then this will need to be designed into the email itself as kind of like a visual. So stage, here follicles begin shrinking, then explaining about that, growth cycles shorten, thinning becomes visible, and then why timing matters. Earlier awareness creates more options for maintaining existing hair and supporting healthier growth patterns. And then start assessment again. And then there's optional conversion section at the bottom. So educational anchor, understanding the process changes the plan. Hair loss treatments work best when aligned to what's happening beneath the surface, not just what's visible in the mirror. And then again, the same start assessment. This section, I would probably, to be honest, leave it out of it. I think the infographic section is here is the key. And then the hero section, how visually pleasing you're able to make that, is also the key. But otherwise, this is pretty decent. And then when you actually, have the copy, you're getting it from there, you edit it in a way you wish. You take into account all the design guidelines and the kind of design inspiration it gives you in the brief here in the ChatGPT. Then you can just pretty much take the copy, you can go into Figma, you can put it straight into Figma or whatever software you're using to design your emails, but most likely Figma. And then you can just like place the copy here. Let's say hero section, the headline, the description, the CTA, and then after that, like the body copy, and then after that designing the actual infographic section, which is kind of like the hardest design element of each individual email. So that's the way you can pretty much just plug and play the copy from ChatGPT into your design tool, and then from there you can actually implement it into your email service provider, whatever provider you're using. Now for the final step, number 4, which is the email designer. At this point, you know how to use AI to write high quality email copy in minutes instead of hours. But here's the reality. Even the best of the best copy won't convert if the email looks boring, generic, or hard to scan. Design still matters, just not in the way most brands think. So click the video on screen right now to see me break down exactly how we use Google's Gemini AI to create clean, professional email designs that actually convert in minutes, not days. Now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.